So I've been trying to figure out pretty much all of my adult life how to not be poor. My parents didn't have much money growing up. We didn't have any fancy things. I never went on holiday, didn't really go to restaurants or anything like that. So I've been trying to figure out ever since a child, ever since a teenager, how to be comfortable in life. So there's a few things that I've learned along the way, a few things that I think are worth learning. It's not actually that complicated, and I want to share that in this video. By the way, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my newsletter. I'll leave it linked in the description, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. So the first one is putting money into savings and investments first. So the way it usually works for most people is that they get paid monthly salary at their full-time job, whatever it is. They get paid and then they spend that money on bills, rent, clothing, food, whatever that is. And then whatever they have left over after they've spent it, they put that into savings or investments. So I do it completely the other way around, and I've seen a lot of other sort of wealthy people do it the other way around as well. So what you do is you set aside whatever you want to put into savings and investments first. So let's just say, as an example, you get paid $3,000 a month. Instead of spending the money on whatever you need to spend it on, maybe you put aside $1,000 or $1,500 straight into savings or investments, and then the rest of the money is what you see as the money that you're actually going to live on. What I found when doing this is that whatever money you have left after you've put into your savings or investments, that you sort of tie yourself to. That's what you see yourself as you're spending money, so that obviously you try your best not to go over that. This one little sort of mind shift, this one little change in my thinking has absolutely changed the way I save money and the way I put money into investments. It just makes a big difference for me, because I know that, you know, if I pay myself 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, whatever it is, as long as I'm putting a minimum amount aside every month or every year into savings, the rest of the money I can do whatever I want with. It's helped me achieve savings and investment goals which I never really thought would be possible. This also leads us well into the second point, which is not investing earlier. So this is probably the one financial mistake that I've made in my life, and that is not investing earlier. Now, it is mainly because I wasn't really financially literate 10 years ago. I wasn't really taught anything about financial literacy. I didn't really have any good role models. So I never really thought to myself, oh, when I turn 18, I can start investing. If I could go back, I would start investing when I was 18 rather than in my mid-20s. That is definitely the biggest mistake that I made, because I think to myself, those 7 years that I missed out not investing, that could have made a huge difference in my portfolio and given me an even more of a bigger cushion than I have now. As my plan is to wind down sort of when I get into my 40s, I want to be able to live off my investments, my businesses, almost being sort of semi-retired, because I love what I do. I love my work. I love making money. It's obviously a lot of fun, but I don't want to be doing it 5 days a week, 7 days a week, whatever it is right now. It really does sort of vary. I want to be able to maybe spend a day a week or 2 days a week, or just be more flexible. I'm already very fortunate to be flexible as it is, but I want to be even more flexible once I'm in my 40s. Number 3 is choosing the wrong career. So this is going to be a hard pill to swallow for some people, but sometimes people do just choose the wrong career. If you want to be well off, comfortable, rich, wealthy, whatever it is you want to be, whatever beyond that, you do have to choose the right career. There are lots of people out there who work really hard, much harder than I will ever work. They work their absolute butts off. But unfortunately, we live in a world where hard work doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be well off, comfortable, or rich. In the world that we live in, to be comfortable, you do have to choose the right career. Now, whatever the right career for you is really down to you, but it really does matter depending on what you choose, because the most important thing is that you choose something that requires the least amount of work possible with the highest monetary output. I've shared a bunch of videos on this channel sharing how to make money online, and all of those things are much more scalable compared to sort of other types of jobs. So if you're interested, make sure to check those out. Living above your means. So this one is pretty obvious, but it's amazing how many people I still know that live well above their means. The only way to save money and grow your investments is to live below your means. Just because you earn more money doesn't mean that you should be spending more money. Lifestyle creep is also a part of this. I know quite a few people who earn great money, quite a few people who earn 6 figures a year. However, they still have income poverty where they still spend more than they actually make. So if they were to ever lose their job, if they were to ever get in trouble, maybe health issues or whatever, they would essentially be poor again. They would be broke again, which is just ridiculous, because it really isn't about how much money you make. It's about how much money you can put aside into emergency funds and investments. Because the most important thing with an emergency fund and investments is that they're there to protect you if you do ever lose your job. Number 5 is not increasing your income. So this is, I think, probably the most vital one out of this whole list, and I feel like something that doesn't really get enough focus. Saving money is great, and it's something that everyone should do. But there's only so much you can save when you're on a low salary. by far the best way to sort of get out of being poor, get out of poverty, is to constantly fight to increase your income. There's a few ways you can do this, whether that's asking for a raise at your current job or moving up through the company. But definitely the easiest way to do it is just to switch jobs. I have quite a few friends who have switched jobs and they've gone from 20,000 to 50,000 to 80,000 in a matter of years, purely because they were able to switch jobs. If they had stayed in their current job, they would probably only go up a couple of grand a year. This is currently the phase that I'm in right now. I'm trying to focus on growing my income because I want to be able to do the same amount of work that I'm doing now, but make even more money. And everything that I'm doing, everything that I'm trying to do, I'm trying to scale it. I'm trying to do things that scale quite well without having to put in more time into it. Financial literacy. So you could be great at making money, you could be great at your job, but what's the point of making money if you don't really have much financial literacy? The perfect example of this is athletes and lottery winners. So top athletes are great at their sport. They get rewarded well for it because they're so good. However, that doesn't mean they also know how to manage their money. And it's the same with lottery winners. Lottery winners, because they haven't really managed money before, when getting such a large amount of money, I think it's something like 60 or 70% of lottery winners go broke, which is just insane. But because they've just had such a big influx of money, they haven't really learned how to grow that money, how to keep that money. And that's what's really, really important. You could be great at making money, but if you don't really know how to manage it, you're not going to be able to keep it for long. Two athletes which I think are great examples are Mike Tyson and Diego Maradona. Great athletes of their time, no doubt about it. But they've both had to file for bankruptcy in the past because they spent all of their money. But if you're watching this video and subscribe to the channel, you're probably already interested in financial literacy, so you're going to be ahead anyway. Spending money to impress others. So there's this quote by Dave Ramsey that I absolutely love. We buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't like. So I've mentioned this in the past, but it's amazing to me how many people will spend what little money they have on luxury goods, whether that's designer gear, latest tech or cars, just stuff like that, which they shouldn't really be thinking about. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't enjoy the odd luxury good here and there. Hell, I do it myself. I'm wearing a designer top right now. But if you don't have much money in the first place, these sorts of things shouldn't even be a consideration. The full-time focus should be on having your financial life sorted. The nice things can come later. I remember in my 20s seeing all of my friends buying fancy cars, and I really felt like I was missing out. I really wanted to be just like that. I wanted to have a fancy car. But I resisted, mainly because I knew that if I just saved that money, if I kept that money aside, if I saved a deposit for my own place, that I would be financially better off later in life. And that's exactly what happened. The only time I actually bought a fancy car was after I had bought my own place. Now I'm seeing similar people my age pay more money in rent than I do on my mortgage for a place that's half the size of the place that I have. And they've had to get rid of their fancy cars because they've realized they needed that money to afford their rent in the first place. So yeah, stop spending money on things that don't really make sense just to impress other people. It really is such a bad trap to fall into. Check out one of my other videos, Easiest Passive Income, How to Sell Digital Products Online. This is a great way to make money and how I do it, and my latest ideas that actually make money in 2023. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter and subscribe for more.